Hello, I'm Natalie McCauley, a student at the International Human Rights Clinic and incoming co-editor-in-chief of the Harvard International Law Journal, and I'm here today to interview Professor Gerald Neuman, co-director of the Human Rights Program, and J. Sinclair Armstrong Professor of International, Foreign, and Comparative Law here at Harvard Law School. This conversation is serving as a preview for the conference he organized, Human Rights in the Time of Populism, taking place this Friday afternoon and Saturday all day. So, Professor, to start us off, what is this conference about?
Thank you for asking. We plan to discuss the current rise in populism. What are its causes and what are its effects? What implications does it have for the international human rights system? And how should the human rights system respond? I don't expect the answers to these questions to be the same for every country in the world, and that's one of the things we're going to be discussing. I should clarify what I mean by populism. Political scientists offer different formulations of the notion of populism, as we'll be discussing. The phenomenon of concern here is a kind of politics that employs an exclusionary notion of the people, the real people, as opposed to disfavored groups that are unworthy. And populist leaders then claim to rule on behalf of the real people whose will should not be constrained.
And does this populism affect internationally protected human rights?
We plan to discuss examples of how that happens, but the easy answer is yes, it does. Certainly within the country, and in some cases also that has implications for other countries as well. If we look internally, often populism then leads to targeting the excluded groups. But it also poses a danger to the majority. Populists deny the legitimacy of their political opposition. They often try to entrench themselves into power and undermine checks. Populism can tip over into authoritarianism. We'll be talking about examples including Poland, Duterte in the Philippines, and of course President Trump here. Externally, populism can take hold in countries that are very important for the support of the human rights system and then remove the support they've been giving. Trump's destructive policy of America first is leading to loss of U.S. leadership with regard to human rights. Often there is permission or mixed signals being given to countries that are human rights violators. I don't want to overstate how far that has gone currently, but it may get worse with a new Secretary of State. Meanwhile, Brexit has weakened the European Union, which has traditionally been a major supporter of the human rights system, and that is also having effect in other countries where the EU has been influential.
Have human rights institutions contributed to the current rise of populism, in your opinion?
That's another topic that we plan to explore. Different views are going to be taken on that. For example, we're going to be discussing whether an overemphasis on civil and political rights and neglect of economic and social rights has contributed to populism in the global south. We'll be talking about backlash against certain human rights decisions in Latin America and the Caribbean. And as a further example, populist agitation in the United Kingdom has condemned a number of human rights decisions on issues like migration, counterterrorism, and prisoners' rights as reasons why Britain needs to take its sovereignty back from Europe.
So what can be done to counteract the current wave of populism?
Well, I could take that question in different ways. Partly it's about what citizens can do, and that's going to depend from country to country. But we can also ask about what human rights institutions can do, and what they can do directly or what they can do to help the citizens who are resisting populist problems. The latter is the topic that we plan to discuss. Should human rights institutions directly address populism as such, or should they address the causes of populism and the effects of populism rather than making populism itself the focus? From my own perspective, in the face of populist propaganda, human rights institutions should bear witness to the truth, and they need to defend the people who try to speak the truth in populist countries.
Right. So is there anything else you'd like to tell us about the conference, Professor?
Well, just to say that we'll have more than a dozen leading experts coming from as far away as the Philippines and from near as our own university. There will be specific discussion of the United States, of Poland, Southeast Asia, Turkey, and Latin America, as well as cross-cutting themes. We're hoping for lively question and answer from the audience, as well as interaction among the panelists. And for those who can't attend the conference, we will have the panels available and a later publication as a resource. These issues aren't going to go away quickly.
Right. Lots of exciting topics happening this weekend. Thank you so much, Professor Neuman. And the conference will take place in the Kirkland & Ellis classroom at Langdale Hall, Langdale South, here at Harvard Law School, this Friday afternoon and Saturday all day. To see all the speakers and to RSVP, please visit hrpopulism.info. Thanks.